Right, got to get into there today to get the turbo out. Long story short, turbo got lost and the people that are sending it just want me to check what I've got in there before they send another one. So also got original number plate on it now as well. So right, let's get started on this. So first things first, airbox has got to come off. So it's bolt here, bolt there. I think it's just clipped in at the bottom, can't remember, might be another bolt down there. Take this off, which is screw there, one at the top. This all then comes off, so this pipe work comes off. Turbo is basically just there, just underneath this. So it's not that hard to get to. Once all of this is off, you've actually got quite good access into it. So plenty of tips and videos online on how to remove the turbo, but I'll try and cut in as we go along, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. So less than 5 minutes in, yeah, it was just these two screws. And then it fits on this thing here. Air mass sensor plug, undo this. Obviously these at the front. This is the breather pipe, which is actually a new pipe, so it should come off without breaking. You'll probably find if you do yours it will break, so make sure you get another one of those. They're only about 15 quid. Need to get this pipe off, which is held on with a metal clip. Once this is off, and the intercooler pipe, then we're going to have good access to the turbo. So I've pushed the clip down, also undone this bolt, and now this comes off, and you can see how that clip works. You just have to get a screwdriver into there, and it pushes down, pulls up, pulls down, and it just uses these little lugs to keep it on. Now we can see into the turbo. And that turbo is seized. It's pretty much seized. I can hardly turn it. So hardly turn it by hand. There's actually no play in it, but it's seized. So what have I done now? I've removed this plug from here. So this whole wiring loom, which has got the mass airflow sensor and the wiring for, I'm not sure what that is, but I think it's to do with the turbo, probably the wastegate. That's out the way. I'm going to remove these two bolts, and that should hopefully allow me to just swing this out the way, because I need to undo this heat shield here. Obviously there's that wiring down the back there, which I don't really want to have to move. So the turbo unit is basically this whole unit here, from there through to the front. So as you can see, with this out the way, that's the that is the wastegate controller there, so that's what controls the boost. I've got a bit more access now. This is, by the look of it, I would say probably oil line that goes into the turbo, or possibly a sensor. I don't know at the moment. I'll know when I take it off. But next thing is to get this off, so that I can access the other bolts, because these bolts here is what connect the turbo to the exhaust manifold, which is obviously this. So this is the EGR valve, and the EGR valve cooler that causes so many problems on these. So next thing is get this off. Right, so I'm about 25 minutes in, and pretty much all done. Got the intercooler pipe off. This also uses one of these clips. I've got to take this off obviously, and to do that I've got to take this oil line off, which I didn't think was going to come undone, but it has started to come undone. So once I've got that off, I can take that off. There's two little screws for that. One is in this bracket and the other one is right round the back. I'll show you that once. I might not even have to take that fully off actually, but I've undone that bracket there, as you can see, and the back of that is now loose, so it just needs to come off. So literally now I've got 3 bolts, one here and one down there, once I've taken this off, and then the turbo's free. So that's not bad. Probably half an hour, 35 minutes to remove the turbo. That's free now. That obviously isn't an oil line. It's I'm guessing some sort of pressure. Maybe it's the map sensor. I'm not 100% sure. So just need to get these off now, which I think is going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll see. Sometimes that's the only way, but actually came open all right with this. So just going to undo those and then hopefully the turbo's out. Right, that's all undone now. There was 2 little bolts on the bottom of the oil feed, and there was another bolt just down there which is a hollow bolt for the top oil feed, and there was a bracket underneath, but basically that's taken probably about 45-50 minutes to get to this stage. So that pipe's now loose, so I might need 2 hands for this. There we go. So there we go. Hard to see, but I can hardly move that. If it's easier from the other side. No. But the main thing is it's out, and we can see that there's been quite a lot of oil dripping down there. So that will be the oil that's been left on the drive. This is the bracket that's underneath that bolts into the bottom of the turbo, and obviously the oil feed here and here. So I need to just check that they're not blocked, because it could be oil starvation that's caused the problem in the first place. So let's have a look. Just wanted to take a better look at this, and you can see a bit better now. Now that should be really free spinning, and that's literally stuck. So not sure, looks like where the oil was coming out from. I'm not sure if it was from there or from the bottom seal. I need to look at the pipe, but need to get another one ordered. I'll check, might whip the other pipes off, check that they're not blocked, and the last thing I want to do really is put a new turbo on it and then find out that there's no oil feed and that gets seized as well. So right, need to get the other turbo sorted, and hopefully we can get this back together next week. So another couple of days since I removed the turbo, and good news, I've had a refund from the original turbo, and I've managed to buy another one from eBay for the same price, which was £120 including delivery. Seems to be quite a few different turbos for these, so you have to make sure you're getting the right one, but having taken mine off, it was easy to sort of see which one I needed. So that should be here Tuesday. It's Sunday now. I'm going to take the oil filter out quickly because there's two different sizes of oil filter. I just want to make sure I've got the right one. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but I never trust what they say on the for which cars they're for, so I'm just going to make sure it is the right one. Obviously going to change the oil and filter before I put the turbo in. And what was the other thing? Yeah, I need to check the oil lines, so I'm going to take those off and clean them up, make sure that they're clean inside. I'll probably soak them in some petrol or something for a while. So hopefully, probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday, have the turbo in, oil changed, and I can book it in for an MOT. And then I can actually take it for a drive and see what it drives like, because I've only driven it a couple of 100 meters down the road, and obviously there was no boost, so it didn't really drive that well. So yeah, we're moving forward. Slight change of plan. I haven't got the tool for that. I need to get one of those. So what I'm going to do while I'm here is remove this pipe. It's just using some Jubilee clip under there, and you can't really see it, it's this one here which goes into here. So I think that's maybe a 10mm, 12mm socket. So I can just check that there's still oil going through those lines. So that was easy enough. That one's off. Have a look, there was oil coming out of it, so there's obviously oil flowing. So let's get the other one off. There we are. There's the lower one. So let's give them a proper clean up. And there we go, all cleaned up. I actually tested them before I cleaned them, and they were actually, there was no blockages in there. So that's good. Soaked them in some petrol for a while, and looking a lot better. So they're all ready to go back in the car once I do the oil. I'm going to drop the oil out the car, do the oil filter, and then I'll put the turbo on and then fill it up with oil afterwards. So all good. Postman has just arrived with oil filter socket. So see if we can get this off. Right. Let's see. Whoever's done this up. Alright. No way it should be this tight. You have to use extension. I need to get this off again, really, to get that in there properly. And we did it. It's actually moving now, although I can't do it one-handed. There we go. Basically, I had to use a, I'll get this off. I can show you. I couldn't get the shaft through enough, so I had to modify it by putting a modified ring on there so that it stopped. It allowed this to push through far enough to have the whole square, but not so far that it was poking that much through, because then I couldn't get the full socket on. So finally so I can see what size we need now. Oh, there's all oil running down. Probably should have done this when I've actually got a means to put stuff somewhere. Right, let's try again. I've actually loosened the oil filter now, so it should just pull out. And oh, that doesn't look like it's been changed for a while. So we're about 16 centimeters. I think I might as well just leave this out because I'm not going to be running the engine with this filter in, that's for sure. Look at that. I mean, I know diesel oil gets pretty mucky, but yeah, that's bad. DHL delivered the new turbo today, and well, it's a lot better. See if we can get in the light. It actually turns freely. So I think also it's also come with a manifold. I'm not going to use that, but it's come with the oil pipes. So I think I'm going to use these oil pipes, even though I've cleaned the other ones. These ones are probably going to be a lot better inside, so I'm just going to reuse these oil pipes because this turbo looks in a lot better condition. Right, let's try that again. First of all, it started raining, then my battery died, but got the turbo back in place. It's not in properly yet. Putting the new, or not the new, but putting the oil lines from the new turbo on because they're just a lot better. So I'm going to get that back in. Fitment is the same as a reverse, it's pretty simple. And then I need to drain the oil, get some new oil in there, and that's it. Get everything back together. It's booked in for an MOT on Friday, which is 2 days away, so I've got to get this done. Right, so that's the turbo back on. So 3 bolts under here, doing up to the manifold, all been done up. The clasp there has been done up. There's a bolt underneath, right underneath there, just about to see it, it's been done up. The oil line's been done up. The last one I've got to do, and you might be able to see it, is the oil feed, this one here, that needs to be done up on there, and then it goes up into the bottom of the turbo, which is here. Remember the little gasket as well. Right, all back together, airbox on, airflow meter, all the pipes in. Don't forget your breather pipe, front on. Last thing is the engine cover, but obviously need to drop the oil, put a new oil filter in, so I'm just leaving that off for the moment. Same with this cable retainer, so that will probably be tomorrow now, because I need to go and get some oil and filter. And I think the next thing I'm going to do later today is sort out the trim in the boot, because it's all still out, so that all needs refitting. Finally got the filter, got a new seal to go on there, got some oil, so let's get this filled up. I need 2 hands to do this up in a minute, so I'm going to continue doing that up with the socket, and then we can get the oil in there. Right, put 4.7 litres of oil in. See what happens. Right, so I've had a nightmare. Went out on Friday, did the turbo on Wednesday, did the oil yesterday, started it up. I had some smoke, just a little bit of smoke coming out, and decided to take it for a drive because it was due for an MOT today, and it just covered the road in smoke. So I've had a good look through the system. It's basically where the turbo had gone on the exhaust side. It dumped all its oil into the exhaust. There's nothing in the intercooler. There's nothing in the inlet. It's all in the exhaust system. And looking online, it looks like it can take hundreds of miles to clear that. And the amount of smoke that's there, I just can't drive it. So I did take it out late last night. Did about 10 miles and light throttle, it started clearing. It actually went really well. It was quicker than the Alpina, so there's obviously still issues with the Alpina because it went really well. But the moment you start getting heat into the exhaust, it just blows smoke out everywhere. So I think that's going to be the end of this video for now. I've organised to get a second-hand exhaust system. I'm just going to replace the exhaust system because the amount of stories I've read about taking the exhaust off, putting it upright against the fence, putting different cleaning solutions down, and the oil apparently gets all stuck in all the fibres in the back boxes, in the mufflers, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So I'm just going to put another exhaust system on it and be done with it, and that's going to be next week now. So yeah, turbo's in, it works. The turbo itself isn't leaking, everything's good, and as I say, really easy job. The easy job is changing the turbo, but yeah, if it's been leaking a lot of oil for a long time, then there's another stage, which is the exhaust system. So that's it for now. So a little bit of an update on that. I decided to go out again in the morning. I'd already cancelled the MOT and started it up. Didn't seem too bad. Took it up and down the road a few times, seemed okay. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to chance it. So I phoned up the MOT centre, asked them if I could have my slot back. That was fine. Drove it up there, left it, told them the story, what had happened. It was due for an MOT about an hour after I arrived, so it cooled down a bit by then. It did smoke a little bit on the way, but nothing bad, just a little bit of blue smoke. So anyway, it's had its MOT, failed on rear brakes, not surprising seeing as it's been sat for a year or so, so I need to sort the rear brakes out. But driving it home, absolutely no smoke whatsoever, even under full throttle. They did say that it passed all its emissions, it didn't smoke on the MOT, it just smelt a little bit like there was something in the exhaust, but it should burn off. So good result really. I'm going to go out now and do the brakes, but for now I think that is the end of this video because the turbo was fitted and it's been a success. So next video, MOT.